melt proof your makeup. Hopefully you can see these. Okay, so let me just share with you which products I have in my hot little hands. And the first one is our Mary Kay Foundation Primer. If you do not have this in your life, you need it now, okay? Like, where has it been all your life? You need it this moment, okay? So, this is our Mary Kay Foundation Primer. This is a must, okay? Like you have to have this in order to allow your skin to be prepped for your foundation, prepped and primed, right? So prep meaning it's going to smooth out your skin. This literally feels like silk. I already put it on. I don't have foundation here, but I already put on my foundation primer, okay? But it feels like silk and it's got a needle nose tip to it, which means you just need like a little tiny bit. You put a tiny bit in between your fingers, and what you will do is literally just like, I mean, probably a pea size, if that. And you just massage it into your hand so it gets nice and warm, and you literally just smooth it onto your skin. So it's going to smooth everything out. And then it's also going to act like a magnet for your foundation to keep it on all day long, make it stay true color as well. And for preventing makeup meltdowns, you definitely have to have the matte version of our 3D foundation. So this is spectacular foundation. If you're not using our new 3D matte foundation, definitely try this. So I love these foundations because they're lightweight, the colors are awesome, and if you have not already gotten a color match with your consultant, then little tip, go on to her Mary Kay website and do the foundation quiz on there, and you will be able to find out which foundation version formula, because we do have several, but for makeup meltdowns, you definitely want matte. But for your preference, it will share with you which formula is best for you. And then also it's going to narrow down a color for you as well. So she can actually match you virtually. So if you haven't done that with your consultant, make sure to do that. So matte 3D foundation, it does have our 3D complex in it. So it's kind of like skincare and foundation in one tube, which is awesome. So matte 3D, do that foundation quiz if you haven't yet. Okay, so we had our primer, which I already put on, and then we are going to go to my next little makeup meltdown amazing tip of the day. So here is the blending sponge. So you see this here. First of all, this is our Mary Kay blending sponge. Isn't it cute? It's so awesome. It has a flat tip here. It's very ergonomic, right? And it has this pointed tip here to kind of get into the little, hard to reach areas. But do you notice the difference between these two blending sponges? One is really little and clean. The other one has just been used. And notice how big it is compared to this one. So what I did is I actually put this underwater, okay? And this is an open cell structure. Okay, so what that means is that this is going to absorb water, not product. So when you put it underwater, okay, it's going to absorb it and you're going to squeeze it 13 times. Why 13? Because that's Mary Kay's lucky number, and 13 is just awesome. So Mary Kay opened on September 13th. Can you even believe that? I think it's fun that 13 is actually a lucky number in Mary Kay. Another little fun fact, we actually have 13 floors to our corporate office building too, which most places like they don't build the 13th floor, but in Mary Kay it's a lucky number. So you have to squeeze this 13 times after you get it wet, okay? So that'll get most of the water out, and then you're going to take your matte wear foundation, okay? And then I just, put it on the back of my hand so you can kind of see there. And then you are going to just dip your foundation in like that. I've got my little mirror here and I'm going to tap this on. So notice I'm kind of tapping it. I'm not, this is a blending sponge, but tap your foundation with it. You're going to tap it actually. And it just makes it give you a little bit better coverage. Okay. So I'm tapping it with the flat end, getting a little bit more here. Awesome. Sometimes I need a little extra. If you want to know which color I'm actually wearing, it is the beige neutral 150, beige N150. That's my usual color in the summertime because normally we have two different colors, right? We've got our white winter color and then we have our summer color. and mine happens to be beige and 150. So I get to go out in the sun using my sunscreen, of course. By the way, that foundation primer, speaking of sunscreen, has SPF 15 in it. So definitely a bonus there. All right, so you see how I'm just tapping it? Awesome. Oh man, one thing, I forgot to do this, but this is a really great tip that I just recently learned, so it's not in my habit here. But this product, our makeup finishing spray, it has the word finishing in it, meaning like you would probably think, oh, I just use it when I'm finished with my makeup. Well, here's a big tip to help keep your makeup on longer and make it stay put. You can actually spritz your face, okay, after you've put on your foundation primer. Just do a little spritz of this finishing spray before you apply your foundation. You can do that. Or you can apply, do a couple spritz of your makeup finishing spray on whatever applicator you are using as well. So if you're using the blending sponge or even possibly one of your other liquid foundation brushes, you can just spritz it on there and it just helps to get that more staying power. Okay. So that's in the process of making your foundation stick. So again, you can apply it after your primer just as another layer, okay, to help the melt down and make everything stick. Or you can actually apply it to the applicator, which is cool too. So, all right. So just to review, foundation primer was first, and then you get your sponge wet, squeeze it how many times? Better be 13. 13 times you squeeze it. And then you are going to maybe do a little spritz of your finishing spray or do a little spritz on your face, and then you go to town putting on your foundation. Okay, so now just make sure I get a few little spots there. Perfect. See how that needle, that tip on there, it kind of gets all those little areas. Okay, so then what we want to do is make sure that we set our makeup, right? So after that, already you're gonna tell that like, you're like, wow, my skin is super smooth right now. But it doesn't feel dry. So we're trying to kind of mat out and help with the oil control, but we don't want to over dry our skin either. Okay, so now we're going to move on to this amazing product, which is our translucent powder. So translucent powder, you guys, this is so finely milled. It has silica and I believe you say mica in it. And what those add-ins do is it makes it super, super fine. So it gives you a satiny finish. So for example here, I'm taking my blending sponge and I'm dipping it in. You can see I'm dipping it into the translucent powder. I usually get too much, but just tap it on the back of your hand first. And then literally you can go underneath your eye like that. And it just kind of sets, if you wanted to do concealer, you could also do a little bit of concealer under there and then tap the translucent powder on top and it just smooths everything out. So you can do that underneath your eyes, and you can also use the flat edge like this and kind of get to some bigger areas like around your cheeks. And again, just kind of tap if you want to. I find that the tapping actually helps from the meltdown happening more so than taking a big fluffy brush and kind of dusting it on your face. If you are just concerned about a little bit of shine, that is something that you could do, is just take your big fluffy brush and just kind of dust your face to set your makeup. But if you are someone who really needs to make sure your makeup does not melt off, then you are probably going to want to use that blending sponge and use the translucent powder that way. Okay. All right. So there's our translucent powder. So I do get a question sometimes about foundation and translucent powder. So for example, Mary Kay offers tons of different foundations. We do have a mineral powder foundation. There is no need to use both of these, okay? If you are using our mineral powder, this is finely milled enough. It has oil absorbing properties in it. You don't need to double up and use the translucent powder, only if you are using our liquid or our cream foundation would you need to layer with the translucent powder, okay? And of course, this is for all skin tones. It's beautiful, feels satiny. It's amazing. Okay, and then the last thing here, I just want to mention, because these like never get mentioned hardly at all, but these are our beauty blotter oil absorbing tissues. So perfect to help with any type of shine that you might get on your face. And so there's 75 in this little packet here, and I'll just pull one out so you can see it, just this little tissue. And it's great because it's kind of multi-purpose. If you do get a little shine throughout the day, just have these in your purse. You can pull them out, blot them, blot where you need to. And what's special about these is it doesn't smear your makeup, okay? So once you put it on, it's just taking the oil off. It's not going to take your makeup off. So that's important to note. And then just a little side tip, which, well, I actually have two bonus tips, if you don't mind. One is involving the translucent powder. One is involving the beauty blotter. So these are my last two little tips. But beauty blotters, you can use them obviously for the excess oil. But if you are someone who likes a particular color of our lipsticks, but you prefer more of a matte finish, and the color that you like happens to be a satiny finish, then what you can do is take your beauty blotter and go like this with any lipstick you have on. And now I have just made my Semi Shine lipstick actually a matte. So just a little, that's a bonus tip. And then the next bonus tip, watch out for this one. This is one I learned from Lori Hogg. Do you guys know like dry shampoo and how we kind of put it right here? And it sort of like gives us a little fluff and helps us go another extra day or two without shampooing, right? Well, our translucent powder can double up as a dry shampoo. Okay, so anyway, not gonna be written anywhere. Just saying. Just saying, dry shampoo, you can put a little bit in there and it just fluffs you right back up. So, tip of the day for you right there. You didn't know you were going to get that tip in the makeup meltdown situation. So, all right, so that is our makeup meltdown. So just to finish, right? We are finished with our makeup here. So we're going to use our finishing spray. I call this hairspray for your makeup. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I am all done, and my face is going to look like this until I wash it off. So thank you for joining me, ladies, and see you on Friday night at 6 o'clock.